Mario, you ready? We'll call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. I'll do a roll call. I am here. Coop here. Mr. Borman here. Mr. Chavez.
Yeah, I was,
That was
cold
from
or something, he was.
Bill. That was from Gary. We sent flowers to, and then we received that from the family. I was just kind of sharing it with the group. So it'd be easier to say who's not here. Judy is not
Judy's
here.
not gonna be here. She said she wasn't.
And Pedro, do we?
He's sick, his wife called me, he was
Okay.
bad cough, she was also.
Okay, Martha's here, Lourdes is here, William is here, Nicole,
She said she was gonna be here.
okay, and Ed.
I had a text from her, said she, but that was like a week or so ago, so.
Okay. Ed's not here either.
We haven't seen Nicole in a while, I thought
I know.
maybe.
She had been traveling.
And she was on
All right.
vacation, long vacation.
Well, she went to
Um,
Europe, but she came back from that.
We're gonna go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Gary, if you could lead us, please. It's over there in the corner by the television. Old Glory.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you can, we're going to observe a short moment of silence in lieu of a prayer. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. We've been graced with the presence of a man well renowned in the community. Jim, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. I'm not quite sure what you're going to address, but the floor is yours.
Under public comments. It's the first time I've done a public comment, so I appreciate it.
Oh, I got my.
Pass it around. For those that may not know, in November, there will be a bond referendum that you can vote on to improve Optimus Park, which is the park right next to Miami Lakes Middle School. It's comprises of about 500 kids that play baseball and about 350 to 400 kids play flag football. But the park has basically been in the same status for the 50 years that I've actually been in the park.
Oh, and I'm sorry, could you please, because I don't know your full, but I know for people that don't know Jim, he's been involved with the Optimus Company Park, since before I think it was named the Optimus Park,
That's right.
right? And then owned the sports shop here on Main Street until after how many, 43, 48, 49 years.
Uniform for a lot of.
49 years in business, can you believe it? Oh, my
My
goodness.
grandson's uniforms for the Optimus Park there.
Yeah. So really, yes, I'm
So
sorry.
as the taxpayers in Miami Lakes, if you are, even if you aren't, and you know somebody that is, we're asking every resident to consider to vote yes for the improvement of the park, which would close the park for a year, but it would be worth it. The cost to the taxpayer is based on their appraised property value of their home, not the market value what they could sell the house for. But on an average house in Miami Lakes, that the assessed value is $252,000 is the figure that we have. It would cost that taxpayer $6.35 per month for that, or $76 a year. If their home was double that, then it would cost them about $152 or about 50 cents a day for this bond that would improve the park's facilities. Right now, we have porta johns right there in the park in two different locations. And no matter how you dress it up, it's still a porta john, and it's kind of like unsightly for a Miami Lakes park to have that. All the other parks have nice amenities, and and it's a shame that the kids have to suffer things like that. So that's what the issue is whether or not the taxpayers will vote in favor of renovating that park. It would include new parking or more parking, I should say, additional parking, which is much needed.
It's much needed, yeah.
So that's a consideration. If you have any questions, that's what I'd like to do, because I only have like a minute speak to you.
What would happen once the park closes for a year? Where would all these baseball teams go?
We
Since my
expect-
grandson plays in a lot of them.
Right, we expect, and this is not a guarantee, but we expect to play at Palm Springs North
Okay,
and even at Country Club, across from American High School.
perfect.
And it would be for basically, they're telling us a year, but construction is never on time, it seems. So it may be more than 2 seasons, it may be 3 seasons.
Okay.
You know, we think it'll be okay. Our flag football uses the Royal Oaks Park for their games, but they practice at this park. So on certain nights, it could be 800 kids in Optimus Park. It's just
All right.
the reality of it. So anyway, well, if you have a question.
What would happen if, suppose, I mean, I know that park doesn't belong to Miami Lakes, it belongs to the Dade County School System,
2/3 of it belongs to the school system, 1/3 belongs to the town.
the town, or we do actually own a third of it?
Right, we own 1/3, right where the new Optimus building is.
Uh-huh.
If you drew a line just south of that, just where that big tree is, east and west, then that's our third. And then south of that is the school property.
Well, my only concern was the town is growing, I mean, right now we're building more out like where Shula's is, we're gonna build more condos out there, and we're a growing town. And we're gonna require more, and the schools right now are packed, we're gonna require more classroom space. And if they decide to make the school bigger, I mean, then what happens with our money?
Well, we have a 60, to use that, there's a joint use agreement, it's already signed, it's a 60-year joint use agreement. After those 60 years, but between now and the 60 years, there should not be a problem, because it's signed contracts and they're a part of it, because a lot of the things we're doing are making improvements for what they requested. So that may be up to the attorneys, but the way I understand it, they're gonna do an aeronasium to cover one of the basketball courts for them. They're gonna improve the tennis courts, that's for everybody to use.
Is there any way that it's possible that the school system could deed that land over to Miami Lakes, and then in that case, our investment would be secure, we wouldn't have to worry about them making the school bigger or expensive?
I doubt, because just reasons you said, that they would ever deed it back to us, because Mr. Graham, deeded it to them originally. So, that's something I'm sure the town attorneys that talked to when they negotiated the 60 years. Because I think we were down to our last 1 or 2 years, and then they were originally going to go, I believe it was less than 60, but because of all the improvements we were making, they moved it up to 60.
I think it's a great thing. I mean, I went out there initially when I first heard about this, when it was $25 million. I was really opposed to it. I mean, I just said it was because I realized the amount of kids that are actually from Miami Lakes, kids from all the other towns. And then I went out there one Sunday or Saturday, and I saw all these kids out there with their parents having a good time, playing organized sports. I'm saying, wow, this is a great thing. This is really a good thing. So it needs to be there. I would just like to be it's secure and not have it taken away in the future.
Right. Well, I think we're pretty safe for 60 years. So other than that, I'm sure at that point that they're going to be just as diligent and continue to extend that contract. But I can't answer that, because I wouldn't be truthful. The other thing too is that people don't look at, relatively, Miami Lakes doesn't have like a gang issue, probably because we keep the kids pretty active. Not only the parents, but the schools, but they have outlets, because there's less activity in schools anymore, because PE is like almost a lost art, even in high school. But the activities that go on in the park keeps the kids busy and active and on a team other than a gang team someplace doing, mischief.
What about the notion, I used to live in a small town that had gone to the World Series and had hosted tournaments, which really brought a lot of revenue and attention on the town. Once we have a completed park and it's now ready to be showcased, is there talk of maybe hosting a tournament that would be a national level tournament?
There could be with one of the fields that they're putting in up closest to the clubhouse now, that will have the dimensions to do high school and even college level tournaments or games. So I know that we'll probably be limited on a certain night during the week, so they can offer it to the high school. I think that was part of the bargaining chips to get the contract for 60 years. So, but yes, that's one of the points that Jeremy has pointed out.
One of the things that I'm not a resident, but I just
read and observe. And one of the things that I noticed is I read about through Miramar, coming from Michigan. They have a lot of parks, beautiful, but the residents can't hardly use them because they're leased out to baseball clubs, soccer clubs. They're not from Miramar. They come from other.
Oh,
areas.
right.
Yeah, that one park that's on, it's west of 75, that thing's used for all sorts of things.
On Pembroke Road.
You sure they have everything.
Even Veterans Park is like off limits to organized sports, so that, I mean, every time you go there, and I'm sure you do, it's named after you, right? Veterans Park. I
was
live
the
out there,
point.
and people are out there walking, jogging. I mean, it's like all the residents are really getting their money's worth on that park.
Yeah, that's the only park that is really for entertaining, not necessarily for sports.
Right, well, and see, I think that's part of the town's design is to have a Passy Park, what they call Passy Park, and they have all their activities there. And it's not that, one of the features in this new park is that they have walking paths. So
Right.
it's designed to, let's say, a mom or a grandmom or granddad wanted to exercise walk while their kid or grandson is practicing baseball.
Mhm.
And they're not really involved in the practice, but they have to be there to safeguard, the
And
person.
right now, they have to go out along the street on the
It's-
sidewalk.
Right, it's right.
So the new plan will have that
Well,
inside?
It'll have walking paths.
Oh, okay.
It'll be nicely landscaped.
All right.
And it'll be more efficient too, because the lighting itself, they can save, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, but they can save probably at least 100,000 just in the efficiency of the lighting.
Something like.
The lighting
LED.
itself, I mean, that over a period of 60 years, it's a lot of money.
So if this gets approved, everybody votes yes and it passes, the park will begin construction at some point. If the town votes no, then what's the plan B?
Well, there is really no plan B. We're do what is left, you know.
Do or don't.
They do, the parking will continue to be a problem as the.
In other words, it's not an abbreviated, almost as good, but.
Well, the thing is, the problem is, without kind of too much time for you, the park was laid out in the pattern of parks back there in Dade County. And then in the 70s and 80s with Broward County coming up with all the new parks, they're all what they call spoke.
Yeah,
So the concession and the bathrooms are in the center
Mm,
and the fields are all around it.
right.
So you can.
So you don't have to walk 2 miles to go to the bathroom.
Or,
You're only 1 field away from
as a
the concession
grandparent, you may have
stand.
a grandson that's 5 playing on field A,
Yeah,
and right next to it,
Right.
your other 10-year-old
Right.
grandson is playing.
Yeah.
And now you
yeah,
have
that's,
to walk
oh, yeah.
acres to actually even see a game, and then the bathroom is, not closed. That's why they put these porta johns. in.
Gotcha, okay.
It's-
All right, Jim, well, thank you very much,
for
sir.
your
Yeah,
consideration.
no, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. And you know what? What was nice was the fact that you said for your, we would ask that you would consider rather than say, make sure you vote yes. So
Right.
that was a feeling, that was a good way to put it. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Enjoy retirement.
Oh,
Jim.
I'm trying.
Thank
you.
Nice to see you.
All right, same here. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Looking at the order of business, any deferrals, additions or deletions? I don't know if people have the opportunity to look at it. But we'll say for the time being, no, and if we run into something we'd like to add at the end, then, we'll do a motion and include it. Did that, people look at the minutes that are provided in the back of the packet? Back of the packet, starting on page 6. Those are the minutes from our August meeting.
So I will say, point K in old business, the motion was to table the talk for the cow, not to actually get the cow. Just a small update.
I'm sorry, for K.
Yeah, for old business in the minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, the minutes,
the motion was
okay.
to table the discussion, not to get the cow.
Yeah.
Motion to get cow display and second by Lourdes, all in favor. So that was motion to
Not.
table
Right.
cow. Table,
Temporarily.
Table,
yeah,
For sure, yeah.
yeah. So motion to table
table the cow.
cow.
Put it on the table.
Don't Bill Bracy out, man.
And that was, it was Larry Gorman, okay, all right, make sure we got that. All right, so that was one correction. Any others? If not, then I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Minutes are accepted with the exception noted by Jonathan on K. And do you have the ability to correct that, or do you want us to
I
send?
believe
it?
we'll have to resubmit the minutes, but
Okay.
that's a small
All right.
update.
Old business now. So the 9/11 ceremony is this weekend. Tomorrow we have to pick up the flags. The sponsors are ironing them furiously.
Oh.
Permit?
I think you said they were delivering back to the park.
Yeah. No, I said that, well, I'm just giving an overview that they're being ironed furiously. And then, the follow-on was, the flags that we had previously were all wrinkled because it was stored horribly. So rather than buy all new ones, they put the staff to work and are ironing them. And they also bought 1,000 more flags to accompany the ones that we had. So if they're too far gone, we can replace them. Plus a number of people walked off with them as well. So those are all going to be delivered back to the park tomorrow afternoon. So Saturday morning when we start, a portion of our contingent will be there at 7 a.m. The volunteers are going to show up between 8 and 10 a.m. And then there's a second group of volunteers that are going to be there between 12 and 1. So it sounds like we spoke to Kai's Realty. They have 100 agents and a good number of them committed with their families to come out and put the flags, as well as Miss Anna Soto, who is a teacher in the school system and is actually the coordinator for volunteer time for the kids. And so she committed 40 to 60 kids to come out and place flags. So if that happens, that's the most we've ever had. So
From which school is that?
I'd have to,
Yeah.
I'd have to look. I corresponded with her, but I didn't take note of that. She just said they were coming. I said, great. High school kids, yeah.
Did you see my email? I forwarded an email from Adriana Schwinhammer about, she was asking about high school volunteers,
Oh.
if there would be any interest in having them offering hours, or service hours.
Oh, okay.
In the past, a lot of people that volunteer just don't show up, so I count on maybe half the volunteer will show up, we're lucky. Gary mentioned something about the Boy Scouts, are they coming here?
I've invited, sent an invitation out. I didn't bring my list. 247, and they're sending some folks, and even including one, he asked me today if they were bringing, if you were not a non-Boy Scout, could they help? I said, we take everyone. So if they help,
It's the young Marines are coming.
We don't vet volunteers.
yeah.
So, Michael, I forwarded you that email if you want to look at it. I think it should be fine for them to come and volunteer, or just figuring out when.
And anyway,
And I think we can coordinate as far as if they need community hours, we can coordinate through that through Ernesto Soto, who does the same for the. school.
Yeah, well, Lourdes is going to be taking the names, but that particular school, Ernesto was going to supply the letter that we need, and we'll just perhaps tie the two of you together
On Sunday?
on Saturday. Remember, you were going to do the volunteer hours for the people that show up to the park on Saturday. You were going to show up at 8,
Oh, okay.
to coordinate the volunteer hours. Now, one of the gentlemen, Ernesto Soto, that we've worked with from the Parks Department here, it has a connection with his wife as a school teacher. So he said he would coordinate the hours from this school group.
Mhm.
So, but anybody else that comes from the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts, the Webelos, Girl Scouts, we're gonna have to put their names on the list. And the other thing was we wanted to ensure that we captured their names so that we could send them a mayoral thank you.
Right.
which, Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I can do a
That could really
sign.
balloon.
so I mean, yeah,
I'll just create a sign-in sheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Like I did for the parade
Right,
last year.
yes, please. Mhm.
Oh, the young Marines.
Yeah, I don't know, well, the reason that we reached out, because Gary usually has a tie-in with the volunteers, but he said that there's been a little bit of difficulty this year in doing that. And so the guys that have typically volunteered haven't been as readily available. So because of that, then we reached out to some, which is probably good too,
I
because,
saw William before
yeah,
he left us.
yeah.
And I alluded to,
yeah. Yeah.
There was something we discussed at the last meeting about water there. It's hot out there. You're
Well,
thirsty.
I thought, didn't,
Well, Judy did say she was running out of water.
Judy, in her email today.
In our email today, she mentioned Sunday, she didn't mention Saturday. So that's what I'm wondering, it won't be, because Saturdays when it really need to work.
I'll be fair, I have been out of the net all day, so I haven't looked at any emails, so I'm a little behind in correspondence from today. So if she said that something about Sunday, then I'll reach out to her and see if we can coordinate something
Yeah,
for
but she might have
Saturday.
forgotten
Yeah,
Saturday.
and if we can't, Jonathan, what we'd like to do is use the town's credit card to go buy water from Publix. 2 years ago, we tried to get water and they gave us 2 cases,
No, Judy's gonna send the water, she's gonna send guys with the water.
but Sunday.
Yeah, but she
Yeah,
said.
oh,
We need it for
Oh,
Saturday
no,
when they
for
put
Saturday.
it for Saturday.
For Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, for Saturday.
I picked up, I donated, I picked up a few boxes of those energy bars.
Oh, great, thank you, yeah. Yeah, but we really need to tie that down, and we've had this, which we'll save that for later, reimbursement, but I'll reach out to Judy to see if, or would you, Martha, would you mind doing that? Are you,
I'm working, I'm flying, I'm gonna be in Michigan.
oh,
I was
okay,
just telling her. I'll work.
okay, all right, I'll, does anybody want to call Judy? Follow up with Judy in the water?
She's
on
on
travel.
travel.
William?
She's on a business trip.
Pardon me?
She's on a business.
No, but
trip.
we can email her. She has access to her email just to find out if in fact she can bring water for
On
Saturday,
Saturday.
call her people. And if she can't, then we'll coordinate it and I'll coordinate through
Her
Jonathan.
email is just for Sunday.
And lastly
Yeah.
on that, I don't know, I mean, I'll pay for it.
I'll reach out to Judy to see if we can get the water for Saturday. If we can't, then we'll pick it up, we'll bring it out there and we'll give the receipt to the town.
There's a lot of us coffee addicts, sometimes we need 2, 3 cups to get started, 7 AM in the morning.
Yeah.
In the past, I stopped by, Dunkin' Donuts and picked up a couple.
Right.
The jugs.
Drugs to go.
Yeah. Well, what about those kinds of things? Because all these are all little expenses that, if you do it for one event, it's not that you buy a couple dozen donuts for the kids or, whatever, 10 dozen. You buy coffee, you get water, you buy bunting, you buy flags, you spend a couple $100. Well, I don't mind. But then the next event, it's the same thing.
Right.
And so by the end of the year, and I put a list together, we're up around $800, $900 of expenditures out of our pocket.
Right.
So how do we work around that to bring, because we have money. Is there a method to connect with the town rather than buy it and then give you the receipt and then say, sorry, we can't be reimbursed?
From my, admittedly limited knowledge on issues like that, and it was a discussion that we had. At some point, it was adding a specific line item for this event.
Yeah.
Right now, we have a Memorial Day event line item that we'll talk about later.
Yeah,
We have, line items for.
But these are, excuse me, John, these are very small items, they really don't add up to a lot, but they're necessary and they're convenience. And to have to make it a line item, go to a meeting and vote on it, that was the whole purpose of having a $700 discussionary fund. So you wouldn't have to tie everybody up with this trivia. And it's not, if they're necessary things, it just seems that, it's a lot of work to do just to buy a cup of coffee or some water.
Right, but since it is, it is becoming not an issue, a topic of, financing and
Well,
things, that would be. to me,
we
the
did
natural-
submit it actually with the budget request. We
Okay.
submitted the line items, the new line items to cover these events, but they didn't include them when we went to the town fiduciary meeting. It wasn't included. And when I spoke to the comptroller,
Sure.
she said, well, I kind of got this last minute from whoever I had sent it, through our points of contact. And they got it late and they said, well, we just kind of went with what, you had before, and it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But we actually have a
This
list.
does really. matter.
Well, it does sound like it
Right.
does matter. Yeah, we do have a list of, things broken out already and what we had proposed and voted on. But when we sent it up through staff, they just said, don't
So
worry
this
about it.
was,
So revisit this again? or-
we could, I mean, I genuinely do not know how the process is, because I'm very fresh to that. My understanding is agreeing to have a line item for it. If, it is a lot of hassle, but I guess, and we've been going back and forth on this, like having coffee at the event, having food, having certain, if we need more chairs than we have, renting them out, all of these
Right.
things do cost money.
Yeah,
So it, from what I understand, it would be better to just have a specific line item for it. I do think that's something that would need to be voted on.
I think we did vote on it. We
We did?
submitted it and then it didn't, staff just killed it. This was in June, June minutes.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we sent it up when we sent up our budget request for this year
Yeah.
initially.
One of the,
And we put together a whole spreadsheet that had all of the items kind of broken out.
one of the problems that we have with this finance report is how things are bundled up into one line. And we
Right.
don't know where, the first line, contributions and donations. Well, there were donations rather, for the Memorial Day ceremony.
Mm,
Catholic Hospice donated, Santos donated about 2,000, they donated 500, and where did it go?
mm.
Can we earmark?
Do we need to get a line,
Let's go-
we need to get a detailed income and
Oh,
expense
yeah,
item,
that's true.
what was paid, what was.
Yeah, Larry just pointed out, if somebody, Catholic Hospice donates for the 9/11 event, that's to be used by us for the 9/11 event.
Correct.
So we could buy coffee, we could buy flags, we could buy water, but that's not what happens. The money goes into the town
and then
through
down
through the finance office, and then it doesn't come back out to us because now it's tied up in
right.
a line item.
There's,
Yeah, it goes in as a negative item.
Yeah.
Because this is a payable account.
Maybe, can I make a suggestion so that we're not here all night? It sounds like we need to talk to the finance people. And we could do that either through your office with Jonathan
yeah,
in attendance or
I'm gonna,
Claricel, but we need to talk to the finance office and express our concerns with the discretionary fund, with the budget line item that, kind of just disappeared. And then address how these kinds of things that come up, hey, water, we have all these young people out there in 100-degree heat. Well, hey, I'm not gonna spend my money on, and then we end up with a heat injury. So it's just logical that we would provide for it. And so so we pay out of our pocket and then we don't,
Look at the street,
it just seems like it could be resolved
Right.
if we had access to the money that we've been given for the committee.
look at the street unveiling, for
Yeah.
Sergeant Irish Harder.
Yeah.
There's a little article in the Miami Lakers, the town did this, the ceremony and all that. Well, guess who paid for the coffee, for guess who set it up?
Yeah.
The American Legion did,
Mm.
not the town.
Yeah, but I think there's a great
But the
blurring,
money.
there's a
money-
blurring of the
Yeah.
lines there. But so I think we could resolve it if we talk to the
yeah,
finance office.
I mean,
You don't know, we don't
I
know.
need to reach out to them regardless.
Yes. But if you
You know,
could perhaps, on our behalf, just kind of grease the skids and say, there's a concern that, monies that come in from donations we're not able to utilize them because it goes into the kind of the town fund. And then when we, go to pay for things, we're told, oh, you didn't approve, you didn't vote, you didn't. So it almost seems like,
Seems like.
it would be better,
finance
it would be better
doesn't
just to do an
adequately support
in-kind, or you just buy the
operations.
water and give it to us.
Right. Because I'm only just being,
Yeah.
introduced to
And we don't know either.
So next year, we need a line item for water.
Yeah.
Well, next
And
year,
we
Light on
and
it
we
for
need a
coffee.
detailed report. income and
Well, that was the
expense.
discretionary
Yeah,
fund.
that's.
We had a discretionary fund that
There
was
is-
for
and there
those
is a
kinds of
report
things.
because I had it last year.
Yeah,
I asked for it, and
or
then
Mike,
I
what we can
discovered
do going
that
forward,
Fred,
instead
Miami
of
Lakes
me
Hall
doing
had sent a letter
a
to
vendor
Claricel with
donation.
donation for
thing,
this,
just
for
so I
this,
can
for
have
this,
a
for that,
table and all
and they had
this
all
Right.
gone
for
into the wrong.
for finance purposes
buckets.
for my company.
Right,
What we
I
can
found
do
it.
is that,
So I
we can
checked
say,
the
well,
letter
we're
and I
gonna need
checked
this, and this,
Because
and that's what I will, put forward to my director to approve it.
oh,
I'll
okay.
say, I'm gonna be able to have a table, I'm gonna be able to do this, but I need to pay out of pocket.
And that's what's called an
For this.
in-kind donation,
That's perfect.
is that right? When you
Like the
donate
water-
items?
Like the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
It's in kind.
In-kind donations.
All right.
It's like-
I just need, if I pay it out of my pocket for my company,
Yeah,
I need,
Right.
right.
backup.
Yeah,
Mm.
But I can
there's a
do
weird, there's two pools, there's the budget pool and the revenues pool, and that's what I believe the donation goes to.
Mm.
It's not, you're not donating the money into the budget, if that makes sense, they're connected but not the same pool, if that
Well,
makes
and
sense.
that should be
I know
a
it's
separate,
Which is,
that should be a separate line.
Well, I know, and of course, Gary was the vice president of the bank, so he's, he's a numbers guy. But what's happened in the
Trust
past.
operations and accounting manager for 37
Yeah.
years.
But what's happened in the past is we have our fund, we receive donations, the money that we use, that we actually, it might show that it was the town money, but it's not. It actually gets deducted from donations. So any money that's left over now is town money and can be spread to pay for anything because we just used our donation
Didn't we
money.
used to call that an interest fund?
I got a question for John. There's a podium here, and I was told it was here in this building somewhere, a portable podium for the speaker on 9/11 on Sunday. Can we get that podium sent over to?
Right, so I spoke to Jeremy first, and Jeremy sent a mass, to do for everyone, for all the parks people. The podium is, as far as I'm aware, is being taken care of.
Yeah.
That's the speakers, the generator, if there's, because we talked about battery powered.
Yeah, yeah.
Podium and mic setup.
Yeah.
That's all.
And Ernie has the microphone, but I know you might have forgotten. The podium they have here that they call the good podium.
Yeah.
Is the one that they use for town council meetings. It's a big behemoth.
Yeah.
And it's not really, the one that we have here, I bought bunting, the flag thing, I got it today. So I'm just gonna put that on the front. So regardless of what it looks like, it'll be covered by that bunting. So we don't need to bring that big
We're not
thing
gonna bring
out
this
there.
one, we're gonna use the one out there.
Yeah, the one that's out there.
Okay, so that settles that. Next issue, on the lawns, everyone checked, is the grass been cut?
Uh,
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I met with Jeremy yesterday
Oh,
and
did
he assured me that it would be cut tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah, we've been talking, it's the work orders we put out.
Yeah.
Oh, and I will,
Tents,
just
tents was the other thing. We're allowed to have a 10 by 10 tent without permits. Anything bigger, like Pedro has connections that could give us a 20 by 40. The issue is that you need to get fire people in and you need to, with the permit, denote where the tie downs are gonna be in case a wind gust comes and lifts it up and crushes everybody. So
Where
to
the fire extinguisher.
yeah, and for fire extinguishers, so it ends up being, quite a to do. That's why we've been going with the 10 by 10s. And I don't know, we don't have a line on 10 by 10s because we've gotten them from people that donated them previously. But we've kind of left this one to chance
The
here.
company that Pedro gave information where they put them out for Memorial Day.
Yeah,
They
Memorial
put them
Day.
out, set
Right.
them up and took them. away
Yeah, that was
for
great.
free.
So, I spoke to Jeremy about tents, and he said that there is a reserve. I didn't know that we had any supply of tents.
Mm.
In that email, they're looking at the reserve, that's all I know so far.
Reserve as in money or reserve as in
As in
tents?
a supply of tents,
Okay.
how many there are. I didn't know that there were, so that was just. to me.
Okay.
I still need
Yeah,
to
we had,
clarify.
we have some.
Right, I agree, Colin.
What about chairs?
He's Jonathan.
Chairs,
What's it?
I was
We have
updated there.
30.
There are 30 in stock at Mary Collins, but that weekend there's nothing going on, so that it could go more than that. I still have to, Manny hasn't gone back to me, because he's the one that sort of oversees.
Okay.
That's, that,
And what happened last time was when we got there, we were taking the chairs out ourselves
Right.
because we got there, but,
Right.
so the question is, who's gonna do it this year?
so Juan talked to
Juan.
me earlier, and he just needs a layout. We need a layout
Okay.
of and I printed out a map. if you wanna
Okay.
Play with that later,
Okay.
just so he knows where to put them out. I told him, generally right now.
When's it
it's
gonna
center
put
field.
them out? We're gonna be there 7
It-
o'clock
it
or
would-
something.
It would probably be at 7 o'clock on Sunday. I would let him
We'll
know.
be there, we'll show them. It's pretty easy setup.
But I think it's just better for him to know
Okay, we'll do
in
it.
advance. Okay. So he has that.
That's when we do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Thank you.
Sunday, we gotta be there at 7 or 7:30.
it's gonna be cut tomorrow. No, tomorrow, today's Thursday. You scared me because I lose track
Well,
too.
the gate doesn't go until Saturday.
Mike,
We
going back
usually
to
put the
the
fire out between these two trees, right?
Yeah.
Between these two trees.
Yeah.
So the chairs are going to be basically right here, right?
Yeah, we put them, depending, we kind of basically go like,
This is
Right there.
right
Yeah. and actually we kind of bring it back because, there's that walking path. But the hope would be, in the past, we haven't blocked the walking path with the expectation that people would be respectful of the ceremony but no, as long as we left that path open, they come through, you know.
It's right here.
That's
my church.
Yeah, so that's what I say, is
Right back.
put some flags and they can go around the long way, because that's ridiculous, people are speaking, people are walking through like, hey.
Yeah, the police come.
Yeah, police,
What if I
fire,
put up crime scene?
Yeah. but they can just go all the way around, they don't have to take that. cut out.
So I heard back from
Flags
the
will be
letter
up to the
information
flag,
when I sent
flags
out
will be like this.
from 6.
I'm sorry,
I sent out
Flags will be,
11.
it's this block here.
Different
it's pretty
Boy
sloppy.
Scout unit.
Oh, okay.
And in this block here is where you're gonna
Oh,
have
okay.
the
That
flags.
they would have some.
Podium's gonna
Yeah.
be right in front of
Now,
this.
when I
Right
went
right here
through
right in
my
front of this.
give
And
the
then,
neighbor-
then the chair will be there. And
You
then
told
the
me.
lanes- This is actually the speed, because,
yeah, I'm not worried about it, because we have, at this point,
but this.
because we've leaned on you, and that's one of the issues that I had when I first came on the committee, is we had 2 people that did everything. And if they weren't there, like Pedro's not here, you're not here, then
Short of it.
we had no
chairs.
volunteers, we had no tents, we had no, so it seems like if we can get a bigger pool of people. And so when you said you were having difficulty, these realtors, the kids from the school, we said, oh, great. And if we got a few, because what happened last year, the Boy Scouts were instrumental 2-3 years ago, but last year they kind of came in piecemeal. Yeah, there was like a few and then they left and,
From 8
yeah.
to 11, they'll be there. The
Yeah.
Sea Scouts.
I mean, they've been very good historically, but
I always.
because, in other words, because we
I prefer to have
always
more
leaned
than
on,
one.
because we always leaned on you, Gary, it seemed like it would be appropriate to kind of widen the pool a little bit and bring more people into the town.
If any of the guys wanna come in from the American Legion, I mean, they really don't have to sit the flags in, but they can be there on like a supervisory role.
That's the lawyers have
Set
the
the
moment.
lines
And
and
then
show
I don't know, we don't need too many supervisors. We did that already. We have one supervisor.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
We need Indians, not.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, scratch that last idea.
Just a comment.
Yes,
We're-
sir.
We're still on A.
Yeah.
And it's 1910 already.
Okay. So that the firefighters have committed to being there. They're gonna bring 2 of their trucks with understanding that, you know, if there's a big event somewhere, they might have to leave, but they've already committed 2 trucks. The police department, did you talk to them?
Yeah, I talked to Officer Amador.
Okay, he said he'll be there with
That'll
the,
be-
the flags, but are they gonna have their police cars?
That's only, of course, once I've gotten back.
What about the honor guard?
Yeah, the honor
Yeah.
guard's coming.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
Amador's party on.
yeah, no, Jonathan got that commitment from them, from Amador for the honor guard.
Amador, he's-
But we didn't, last year they had police involvement.
I'll have to
Yeah.
get that update.
No,
They're
no.
going
I
back
don't
to
think it'd be an issue.
The battalion chief with the bill, is that,
He's coming,
with the bill?
yeah, with the bill.
The young Marines will be there as well. with-
And so that everybody knows, there's no secrets, I mean, the fire chief that's coming is coming from Station 64, which is the one that's on the west side of the Palmetto. So if you're driving on 154 and there's that fire station by that storage thing right there, right on the left-hand side,
Guess what?
that's called Station 64. And there's a battalion chief there by the name of Mike Edwards. He did it last year, and he had a big bell, and he gave a speech, and he said he really liked it, would like to do it again. But I said, you know, we took this on, it wasn't really our event. The mayor asked us to sponsor it because there was flags, veterans, you guys. But I told the fire chief, or asked him, I said, you know, this isn't really our event. We're doing this to honor you guys, but it would be great if you took a more active role, you know, with your firefighters. This is to honor in large part, you know, everybody, but in particular, the firefighters that were going. Everybody remembers the people rushing in, and we were all saying, oh my God, everybody's trying to get them out. And these brave men and women, you know, had their gear on or were going into the building. It was incredible. And so he said, hey, we want to honor you, but we'd like to have, you know, more involvement rather than us telling you, this is how you should honor your people. You tell us, we'll plant flags. He said, you guys did a great job. Please just do it the exact same way. And he said, going forward, you know, we'll get more of a commitment from us so that it's not a last month we're throwing it together. But he said, you can count on us. We really are very appreciative and we love it. But his name is Mike Edwards, Battalion 64. So if you ever have to, you know, in the future, you're sitting at the thing and I'm long gone and then everybody, you'll say, oh, hey, Mike Edwards. Yeah. So, and then the violin is going to be provided. The violinist, you might remember, was there last year, was quite good. We don't have a rain plan. I don't know if it's supposed to rain this weekend.
Supposed to.
Is
We're
it?
good, we're good in the rain. The rains, we have,
About
we have the
40%.
tents there.
Mm.
and
Well,
people can
we
still
have to
have
confirm
their-
the tents.
There's other tents.
Can we give that to you as a due out, the tents, to confirm how many? And
Yeah,
then
I'm gonna
Gary,
have that.
would you mind reaching out to Pedro to see if he has, because I don't think, we haven't seen him in a bit. So he hasn't really been involved in this, but if Jonathan can't get any tents, we're gonna be, underneath the blue sky. And so if Pedro can reach out to his guy and we get a few tents, that would be nice. It's kind of a little bit late now, but
Yeah, no, tomorrow.
yeah. All right, so that's, the ceremony starts at 8:15.
And we will need some for Saturday, a couple of Saturdays, so people can go on there.
Oh, that was, you had Humana last year, that was kind of nice. I
Yeah,
know.
they're not here. I
Yes.
talked to them, and everyone has plans.
So- So we, on Saturday, we're gonna be there. Half of the group will be there at 7. You're gonna be there at 8 for the volunteers. Martha, you're out. Mara, you gonna be around? Or- And Bill, you said you'd be there at 7.
on spending the day.
Gary, you have the American Legion meeting at 10.
Trying to make it.
So you'll be there and then you'll be gone. And then you'll
I'll
be back.
there, then
Okay,
I come back because I have to bring,
yeah,
I'm babysitting my
Okay.
youngest grandson.
okay.
I'll be there.
But I'm gonna bring him to.
I'll go to the meeting.
Oh, okay, all right.
Here.
All right, so on Saturday, we're gonna meet at 7. On Sunday, the event,
17?
That's the youngest.
on Sunday, the event starts at 8:15 promptly. So the
On
fire,
Sunday at 8:15 or 7:30?
8:15.
8:15.
The event starts at 8:15. The firefighters are gonna show up with their trucks at 7:30. So it'll take them a little bit to kind of get them into place, but by then, all the flags will be out. The Pope. No, it sounds like. a good idea.
But we need to be there at 7 on Sunday. We're talking about Sunday.
Yeah.
not
Saturday.
Saturday.
Well, it's Saturday,
It says the gate opens at 7 on Sunday.
yeah, that's the back gate. And so that we're all on the same sheet of music. The back gate, because this has happened to us before, the person that had all the info wasn't there, and everyone was like, I don't know. The gate is that back gate that's in the far, what is that,
Southwest.
east,
north-
southwest
north-
corner,
Southwest corner.
southwest
North-
corner
On Oak
of the
Lane.
park. If you go on 154th and you turn left on 82nd, you drive, and the park now is on your left, you pass it all the way down to the end. There's a gate there that you don't really notice unless
That's
you're
where the
looking
fire
for it.
trucks come in.
It's a big gate, one of those big swing gates. It's, so if, we're waiting for the person with the key.
It'll be
Combination
it'll be
of
unlocked.
the key.
It'll be unlocked.
The one for the-
Yeah.
the gate one is open.
I don't know. It's
So then we
on,
park on the
It's actually-
street.
it's right now.
it's
I'll bring my
unlocked,
walk.
it's unlocked already.
I'll bring my walk.
So
But I
we
didn't
would-
want to put it out on the public thing.
We would park on the street
Yes,
because the parking will be closed still.
no, the park is open.
The parking will be open
Yeah, the park is open. This gate is the gate that's all the way in the
in
far,
the park.
yeah, the park,
By the lake.
yeah, by the lake.
By the lake.
That's this gate. The gate to just park, you can park.
We can park over there by
Anytime.
Mary Collins.
Because it's
Yeah.
already out.
In the past, we've had police there on the night before just to make sure nobody mess up the flags.
Right.
Yeah, so that's,
John,
building is over here.
Jonathan?
Hmm?
So you're gonna ask about the police presence for the
Right.
ceremony. That's one. They're gonna be there for the honor guard, but actually to participate and, first responders. And then, because we're putting those flags out, we've asked in the past to have a police presence from Saturday evening on so that people don't come and steal all the flags and we get there Sunday morning and there's no flags. Or somebody took their car out there or whatever. So that would be two things, would be to confirm their attendance at the event and then ask if they would provide some oversight of looking after the flags to make sure they don't get stolen the night of, and then they're gonna leave them up for a week. And then the plan is the volunteers are gonna come back in a week from now, next Saturday. Because what we did last time is we left it up to the sponsor and they went out there with 3 people, 3,000 flags, which is what accounted for the flags being a little disheveled. So we're gonna take the responsibility and I've already committed to putting them out and then we'll pick them up roll them up and then give them back to them. Yep.
Can I make a suggestion, doesn't cost that much?
Yeah.
But they sell these, they're like big containers. That you lay the flags down and really nice and put a lid on it. They say they won't be in the boxes. They won't crush it, mess around. It keep them a lot neater and they won't be messed up.
I don't know. This is we're talking about more
Probably
expensive.
spending about
Those
$50.
plastic tubs?
Yeah, the big plastic tubs,
Yeah.
probably up $50.
Yeah, those are not expensive.
But again, well, yeah, again, but in the past, the way we've dealt was like, yeah, and we just buy it out of pocket and, we end up with leaving money on the table for our committee.
So the
So,
work we had to go through this year because of the way it was done.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's worth it.
no, I agree with you, but it would be appropriate to use our money allocated for the committee rather than, pitching in out of our pockets.
Well,
Yeah. So this is another
Right,
issue that we
another
have
thing
to.
that I'm gonna bring it up to finance anyways, because.
And we
it is a
will be
lot.
involved in the, I mean, we're not aggravated about it, it's just, we can do business better than the way we've done it. And
everyone has a better
and we just need to
understanding.
clarify some
Always
things.
a better way.
All right, so I think that's it. So Saturday, we'll be out there to place the flags. And we
Saturday at
need
7.
the water. I'm gonna reach out to Judy for Saturday.
Will there be a table set up for me to be able to do the volunteer stuff somewhere?
I'll tell you what, I'll bring a table. I have a collapsible table and a chair. I have one of those like,
Mhm.
folding chairs. I'll bring that if that's good for
Well, I
you.
have a folding chair in my car, that's.
Oh,
not a
okay,
problem,
I'll bring
but,
the table then.
Something where we
All right.
can have, because I have a little table that I can bring,
Yeah,
that is, foldable. but
yeah.
it's
No,
small.
I've got one of those little, the whatever regular 8-foot table. Yeah, I'll bring that. And thank you for reminding me. I'll actually put down. a
the
table.
coolers for the water, are we,
And I have park tables.
See, I thought Judy was taking care of this, but that's Sunday, I guess, huh?
well, she said Sunday, we talked about it Saturday and Sunday, she I'll take care of it Saturday, but her email just said Sunday.
Right.
So we need to get someone, give her a call, and if it not be the case, we'll just do it ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of coolers, ice and all
There's
that.
coolers in the back of the Mary Collins.
Yeah, Mary
Yeah.
Collins.
Yeah.
All you need is ice.
Ice and water.
And don't we have
Well-
tables at Mary Collins that we can use, so you
Yeah,
don't have
there
to
are.
bring
Yeah,
them?
we can grab some tables
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
There should be a table there.
Yeah,
so
they
you
have-
don't
they
have to
have-
bring yours.
we'll just have to ensure that we can get into that at that time,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
Well,
it'll
no,
be
it's
open
open.
because Gary's in there.
That's open at 7.
It is
Mary Collins is open at 7
on Saturday?
because they have to start.
Yeah, but the storage thing in the back, we have to get
That's
the,
the cleaning person.
Yeah.
that's
but I thought she told me she gets there at 8.
I'll find out. I'll find out.
Yeah, I didn't think she said
Irene,
7.
Irene.
Irene,
Yeah.
yeah. But she
I'll
said
go
8
ahead
to
tomorrow.
2.
Now, are we keeping track of volunteers on Sunday too, or no?
No.
Only on Saturday?
Just usually, yeah, from 7 to 9.
So the table for Saturday and then water and ice for Saturday. And that's Judy. And if Judy can't do it, then we're gonna do it. And then Jonathan, that's gonna be another thing with buying water and ice. Like I said, I mean, in the past, but to be fair, after a couple of years of constantly putting out of pocket, it's just getting to be like, hey, come on. this
I
is-
think-
Water, ice, energy bars, and coffee.
And donuts.
Donut.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I think
Donuts, donuts.
Oh, you have the energy bars.
Not to
I
rehash
give
it,
them energy
but,
bar.
but there was discussion to have a specific 9/11 line item before.
Yeah, we had kind of broken everything out and we had that discretionary fund to cover all others, up to $700.
Miscellaneous.
Yeah. And and we voted on that and approved it and
Okay.
brought it up.
Right.
And then we thought we had to go to town council, but we were actually told through Claricel to Isle that we didn't need to, that, that was approved, that we could use that money in that way,
I
in
think
a
you
discretion.
could, it's.
We just have to revisit it and
Yeah,
clarify.
I think clarifying things is gonna be
Yeah.
the motto.
Because these are the kinds of things that,
It's
will make
fine.
the event, All right, the Veterans Monument, that is, we've settled on the monument, we've settled on the stone. I went out with Jeremy earlier in the week to discuss the various sites, and I said, hey, I'll just tell you what we were thinking. It was proposed at this spot. I brought up your suggestion over in the corner. He addressed a number of other locations. He had said maybe up by the front, maybe over on the left. He said, keeping in mind that we have plans for the park, so this area, you can't do it because there's gonna be a path, a bike path there. Over here, you can't do it because that's an irrigation thing. Over here, he said I would recommend leaving that open for the splash pad because then we're gonna extend that. So it left like about 5 spots. And he said, hey, be great. I said, well, I can show you on the map where they are, but it's probably better if when we're out there on Saturday, I just tell you, hey, this is where he suggested,
Where we
he's looking for our input. It's not really up to us, but he said, please give us your input. And that way, we can move forward with that. And so there was about 3 spots that it was narrowed down to, and when we're out there, I'll show you where they are.
And just
Oh.
update, she's swamped right now with work with the parade and
Yeah.
ranger run and all that, but it's essentially taken care of. It's gonna be, the funds have been reserved.
Yeah.
Obviously, for the end of the year, and it's gonna be taken care of.
The statue can be here in, within 2 weeks. It's the plaque that will take, because the statue is already made, the plaque has to be cast, and it's a bronze cast. So that's gonna take 6 to 10 weeks. I said that we'd like to have it by Veterans Day, although we don't do anything over there at Veterans Day necessarily, but just to have a mark on the calendar. And so I had said, we could, given the fact that it's gonna be a little while, the wording on the plaque. And so they asked that we come back to the committee and talk about what is the wording going to say. And I think I had said something like, the citizens of Miami Lakes. I'll tell you exactly what I said. But that's something that we have to discuss and kind of come up with some ideas on. On what we're going to, how we're going to go forward, yeah. But while I look that up, so I don't delay us any further. Oh, the Veterans Parade, I don't think we have to do a lot. We have a
I
subcommittee.
make a motion that we table that and just do it on Monday or whenever it is we're doing
The
it.
Monday, it was something.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
the Veterans Parade, yeah,
Right.
okay.
I would
Same with the holiday
one
run.
thing to the Veterans Parade, because it needs to be done.
So that's a motion on the table for C and D to table them until,
I'd like to put one thing about C before we move on. And I want to go to we talked about a float for C, and
we're down to 6 minutes.
how much money do we have for the float?
Well,
No, we have,
for the first one,
Yeah, until
today
it's-
I
okay.
may have gotten a second 1,000. And spoke to Coyazo this morning.
Yeah.
And he and Marilyn may be tossing in some money.
Okay, so basically, we're probably, my guess, probably $1,500 behind
Hmm?
of what we need, maybe,
No, it's 3,000, the float.
the float's got 3,000 yet.
Yeah,
We have the whole 3,000?
well, we have 1 and possibly 2 for sure. She'll get back to me.
Okay, hold on.
And then Coyazo and Ron, so we almost have the 3.
Okay.
And we get 600, then you start to come up with
And
400.
we're also trying to work
Because
together
it
with
was
Sierra
so-
Hialeah. It's gonna be- Yeah, we're in the middle of that.
So this is nothing to do with it.
No, but they're, we chip in with them on the same float and get a better float. And we just pay part of it and they pay part of it. We use it on the 6th, they use it on the 11th.
All right.
And that's the other,
Z is Arbor Day.
Okay, second.
okay, it was a motion.
So,
to table
okay.
for-
So the Veterans Parade, Bill made the motion to table,
Until our subcommittee meeting,
to the subcommittee meeting, which is on the 12th of
Right.
September.
which is Monday.
And that was seconded by Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. We'll put the Veterans Parade off until the subcommittee meeting on the 12th of September. The holiday,
Since Judy's not.
the
here to
holiday
update
run
us-
is, that's Judy's baby.
Since Judy's not here to update us, I
So Bill makes a motion
Motion that we-
to table that,
table that until
the
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 next meeting.
subcommittee meeting.
Or the
Yeah.
subcommittee.
that's the
Right,
21st.
that was seconded by Lourdes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the holiday run has been tabled until either the subcommittee meeting or the next committee meeting.
Subcommittee meetings Monday, correct?
No, the subcommittee meeting
21st.
is the subcommittee meeting for the parade is
for
the
the
12th
parade,
of
it's on-
September.
it's on the 12th.
And then the subcommittee meeting for the run is
The
the,
12th is Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
for
Yeah, that's the parade.
I think he said the 25th.
We're having a meeting.
Jonathan, so it says
Yeah.
upcoming evening
For the parade.
run.
That's the 21st.
The 20,
Wednesday, the 21st,
21st for the race.
at 5:30 p.m. I'm gonna send out reminders leading up to it.
Oh, I had said, kind of, and this, just going back to this one, I had said something like, which was just a off the cuff suggestion. The citizens of Miami Lakes and a grateful nation honor our veterans, past, present, and future. And then the date, November 11th, 2022.
That sounds perfect.
You want to
Yeah,
send it
that-
to
I
me?
mean, I don't want to be, it's beautiful, but it doesn't go with the cross. It's not the
Yeah.
same thing. The
The
cross
meaning.
is a memorial to
The
the dead.
meaning of,
Is
I
there
mean,
a,
It's not the same, it doesn't belong, it's the wrong, it's beautiful wording, but it doesn't go with the monument. The monument is a field cross for the dead. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't go with that one.
It's they're honoring the veterans, the past, present, and
It's,
future.
that field cross is not to honor veterans, it's to honor
Mm.
someone that was killed. It's not the same thing. It's a,
Mm.
that's the memorial you want, unless we want to change that and get something to honor the veterans, but that's a memorial, that's like a gravestone.
Oh, how we could, it would be simple enough to change it to say the citizens of Miami Lakes and a grateful nation honor our fallen, past, present, yeah, we'd have to take out past, present, and future.
We want to inspire kids, we want to inspire our young to join the military, the shortage of people.
Mm.
And, you know,
Well, we're already past there. We're past there. We have the battlefield cross. So we'll work on this. We'll table this then until the next meeting, October, because we
I
have
second
time to do that. So I make the motion to table, or actually, I make a motion that we invest time with appropriate wording. And when we meet at our next meeting, then please be ready to submit your ideas and we'll vote on them at that
Can you
time.
send us a
I
copy of-
suggest that we submit our ideas to you between now and the next meeting, and then we go over them.
Okay.
Can you send what you have written to us? so we
Okay.
can-
But Larry's point is well taken, because this, the memorial that we have is a fallen soldier, Marine, airman type thing.
Why
And
don't-
so, sorry?
You go on.
yeah, and so to say that, you know, the town honors, what the town does honor, I mean, that's what the whole purpose is. So I mean, not specific, it's kind of a general honoring of veterans and the sacrifice. The fact that it's a battlefield cross, it's not one individual, it's not one service. So it's a generic thank you to all that have sacrificed. And so maybe the wording would be, thank you to those who have sacrificed, you know, on behalf of a grateful nation.
Those who have given the ultimate
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Yeah, right, something like that, yeah.
If you guys like, or you can send it, if you guys want to submit your own, send it to Michael or.
Yeah, just send it to me,
and
I'll
then
put them on the agenda.
you're
And
right.
then that way we can kind of go
Yep.
through them A, B, C, D and say, yeah, I like that, and you'll have time to look at them. Yeah, so please, if you could, we have to submit the agenda 1 week before
Send to you, I copy
the next
them.
meeting, so just have them to me and say the next couple of weeks.
By October 6th.
Yeah.
Because the next meeting is October 13th, so if you can get them in before the 6th.
Okay, so on this one, you're going to send wording, the committee will send wording, and then we'll vote on it at the next meeting. Wording for monument.
And the agenda has to be submitted a week before, so.
All right, the Arbor Day brick. I've sent a message to Jonathan and Claricel, the bricks that we have there at the park. 2 of them are painted, 1 is not painted, the most recent one is not painted. And when I asked about it being painted, the person responsible for doing it responded through Claricel, through Jonathan, that, oh, they're not supposed to be painted. But the problem is that 2 of them are painted and 1 of them is not painted. So the one that's not painted looks like it's half finished. So I sent a note saying, could you please, you know, just make them all the same? And
the wooden frame off it.
yeah, they did. He took the wooden frame off of it and then said it's done. And I said, well, it's still not done because it's not painted. And then the response was, well, they're not supposed to be painted. However, given the
Tell
fact
them
that,
to sandblast the other.
yeah, given that the other 2 are painted, you know. So anyway,
So, yeah.
Claricel and Jonathan are working on that. And they're going to get back to us. That's the update on that. The Veterans Park update, the camouflage. Jeremy has in response to our request to landscape the front of that. Remember, that was kind of after we got the park renamed Veterans Park. we were really anxious to do, landscape that sign because it looks horrible the way it is. In fact, the same flag that we put in there from Veterans Day last
Still
year
there.
is still there, dirty, tattered, awful. But the town at Jonathan's behest has set aside money. He had to make sure that the numbers worked out, and so they are going to complete the project and landscape it before the end of the fiscal year, which will be September 30th. So the other day, he said, no kidding, this will all be done. We're gonna do the pavers, we're gonna do flowers, we're gonna do soil and mulch in there. It still won't have the lighting, but I said, that's okay. We have lighting, solar lights that I had bought for the signs, and I bought a couple of extras, so I'll just, they were concerned that they would be stolen. I said, well, I'll buy it, and if it gets stolen, and it's been there, so. And I've got a couple of more, so I'll stick them in there.
Put a flag there.
Yeah, and that
If
was,
you put a flag there, you have to have lights there in order to keep the flag.
To keep it
up.
alive.
well, we do have a light, we have a light there
Right.
currently, but they have enough in their budget to cover the expense of the landscaping, not irrigation and lighting. That's a separate issue. But I said, we'll take what we can get, and he said, next year, that will be in the budget, but near term, we're gonna do the landscaping, that will be done. And then the rest of the park development will be down the road.
And what
So
about the permanent sign? The
the,
permanent sign, Veterans Park.
yeah, they
That's
have,
just a temporary one.
yeah, no, the one that they have there, that was permanent.
That's
Yeah.
not a permanent?
That is a
Yeah,
permanent
put
sign,
something
because there was
on top of
talk, there was talk about putting seals of the various services but they said, you've got what you've got for now. And they have another sign that's identical to that one. There was talk about moving it on the other side of that entrance, but they were gonna talk, they said that they wanted to put it back in the corner
On the
by
corner,
that
on
gate.
the other, yeah,
So,
on the south side.
yeah, the south end.
Lighting and all that would be
Down the
Next
road,
one.
yeah, next fiscal year. But this year, at a minimum,
the landscape.
the landscaping and the stones and mulch and all that will be done. So that's great news, actually. Because we were gonna do it out of our own pockets. We said, hey, we'll just do it. But then there was issues, and we said, let's trust the system. And it's taken a little while, but being a man of his word, he actually, he got it in. So we're very grateful to the Parks Department.
One
and,
more thing
Jeremy.
is worth mentioning also, Mary Collins Community Center, the flagpole, the mechanism to raise the flag and lower has been broken since at least 2018. When Tim Dover and I tried to raise the Purple Heart flag. Took one to go with a huge screwdriver and a pliers to go to Irene, the people who work, they can't do it. Sometimes the flags they remain a half staff for a week because nobody will do anything about it.
They do have a website with an app on the phone that you can submit. I did that with I walked around the park, I took pictures and I submitted it. It creates a work order. And so if you don't have it, remind me, and I'll do it when I'm with you over on Saturday.
Okay,
And if not, I can show you, you just download the app and we'll put it in. Yep. So that's the Veterans Park update. The cow was put off. The grant proposal, I told you that they've submitted a grant on our behalf to update all the equipment around the park. The landscaping is done. And then what can we do? It appears that we've done what we can. The veterans budget, G, 19,950 was approved. We were told that, you might remember. And then the specific line item inclusion, which is what we're talking about, I have that from when we submitted it. So I will send that to you via email, and then we'll talk to the finance people to see how we move
could you
forward.
copy me?
I will, yes, please. So Gary's our treasurer,
Right.
and he made the point that the line item, when we talk about a line item, and the finance folks told me the same thing. They said it's not really a line item. There isn't an individual line item for that. They said that's kind of for bookkeeping purposes,
Right.
because there's only one line item for everybody. It's the same. It's like the
Yes,
committees.
if you look
It's,
at-
$100,000 for the
Yeah.
committees, and it's broken out. You can't even tell, I don't think you can tell elderly affairs from veterans. It's just a committee line item. So it's not, you can't go and say, oh, we spent, 103,570, because it's not broken out that way. So they said, don't worry about it, because we don't do it that way. We just lump all the money into
But
one.
there's, I know they gave me a report last year,
Yeah,
that it shows payments made.
Yeah.
And what
But-
came in, who came in.
But I'll send it to you, Gary. If you don't mind, I don't want to put more on your plate, but you are the financial brains. Can I give it to you? And would you mind engaging in this, kind
Yeah,
of the
you
best
can
way to
yeah,
proceed?
yeah.
I'll send it to you and Jonathan.
Yeah,
Gary, you're like our Meyer landscape.
I will not do your tax.
And then did everybody get a committee shirt?
Yeah, I may have to look for a medium, but that looks.
We can try it on before we leave and then, yeah,
I want to buy a second one.
okay.
Are
Do
we
you,
wearing our shirts on Sunday?
Yeah,
on
for sure.
Sunday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
On Sunday.
proudly.
Okay.
Okay.
One with the flag's good.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you don't wear, you have a town shirt
I have a
or?
town shirt that I wear.
And they're getting,
Pardon me?
they're all getting one new shirt.
Yeah. In other words, I mean, we
They
have a
pay the
couple,
rest.
Jonathan, we have a couple of extra shirts. And you'd be more than
You're more
happy
than
to
welcome
offer you
to.
one of our,
I think
one of
it
our
would
shirts.
be- Not that I'm not personally turning. it
Oh,
down. I
because
think it'd
it's
just be more appropriate. to
Yeah,
wear my
staff
town
For the
shirts.
sound one,
committee.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to make that distinction. You want to be lumped in with
I
us.
like shirts.
I got you.
so I like it.
Okay, so that's
We're
a.
embarrassing. I guess.
Yeah, I get it. Any other old business before we move on? No? Okay, so new business. And Jonathan asked me to just lay out the events that we have going into the next year, and I'm not quite sure why, but I'll turn it over to you.
So, I mean, the whole department, the communications department, we're starting to gather all the events. So we can start creating the calendar, our specific calendar of events, which allows us to create sponsorship packets. Which is a very simple, here's the event, here's all the information, expected attendees. The levels of sponsorship, and it's a one-stop for these businesses. It's just helpful for us to have this down. And, if these are all the events, it makes it fairly simple to have it in front of us. So that's why we have it included. I was just curious if these are the actual like specific dates of these events, or, for example, Arbor Day, April 28th is the actual day of Arbor Day. So do we plan on having these days?
Yeah, these are all fixed dates.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
I have a question. Have we put anything up on, I haven't seen anything on social media regarding the 9/11 event.
It's been put up. We have,
It's on the town's website.
it's on the website, it's on
the
Facebook,
town's website.
it's on Twitter, I've been putting it on Instagram, on the stories, because. I mean, the short of it is the direction with the town social media is, Instagram is more for highlights. Facebook and Twitter are more for events and their promotion. It's being advertised properly. I can send it to you. I can send you some, all the graphics that we have for the event so far. It's been out there, if you like the direct links to it, so you can see it, I'd be more than happy to
And,
get that
and,
over to you.
and I had, I hadn't spoke with you actually, but I told Jonathan that, in communicating with some of the citizenry, and I told him, they said, oh, we haven't seen it like we have in years past. We didn't know. I said, no, it's this Sunday. And that's what I reached out to John. I said, people, I'm not a Facebook, Instagram person, but
No,
they,
this used to be advertised to Miami Lake.
yeah.
Haven't seen
But you're saying that you hadn't seen it,
No.
pop, and usually it's a push, not a pull.
I read that stuff all the time. I just haven't seen it.
It's been a transition period, I'll say, with the direction of the social media, because at some points, I mean, not to get too deep into, the strategy and the philosophy that I'm trying to bring to it, you think, okay, someone wants to find out when events are, where are they gonna go? It should be Facebook, Twitter, or the website.
Is it going in as an advertising or, because, I look at it, I don't see it. Is there something I have to research it or? I don't see it.
Well, the reception, that's more of our newsletter, which did go out with the September 11th event. That's when it would be, brought to people's inboxes essentially. Unless they have their notifications or they're specifically requesting to be notified about these things, there's not really much
the gala,
we can
that's
do.
getting a lot of Facebook time and all that.
But I mean, the idea of doing these events is that we encourage community involvement. We invest the effort and bring people in with the expectation that the citizens of our fair town will attend the events. But
This was
part of
posted,
that comes with, letting them know that we're doing it.
this was posted this week. Might be hard to see, but,
Okay.
this isn't,
Unless you look it up.
They sent,
But
where is that at?
But
It's
what's
on
the
Facebook.
difference? How would Jonathan do
On
it?
our
Facebook.
Facebook page.
That's
That's kinda late.
Send me something like that to my email so I can send it to my all staff at work.
Area, you know,
I'll try to include it tomorrow.
Can you please tell Jonathan, because I'm not really sure. Larry was saying that he hadn't seen it, and he's very active on many of the social media sites.
Right.
And I said, well, what's the different? Why are we not? Because you've been very conscientious of putting this stuff together. So what's Jonathan doing or not doing?
I don't know, because there's certain, when you advertise a certain demographic, a certain, you target. And all those people within that, whatever the group is, will receive a pop-up on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I've never seen one in this town, never. And I mean.
Oh, ever, you're saying?
Never.
Oh, but I'm talking about past events. We've had these events advertised and they've shown up on Facebook, right?
And Miami Lake.
But are you following
Unless
them?
you actually unless you actually look it up for the town of Miami Lakes, you're not gonna know about it.
Now,
Nobody's looking.
now, Jonathan, one
But are
thing,
you-
when your
following
predecessor
them?
was
Are you
here,
following them?
she told us that we had
If
to
you follow them, then
take
they-
money from our
The
account.
idea is. we
and
wanna
apply it.
advertise,
that,
not just
that's
follow.
for, if you want to get outside people, because there are people that follow your account, that if you post something, they're going to see it, it populates your individual feed. If you want to promote it to people that don't follow us, that it's, more the algorithm taking over.
Great, exactly.
That's what it
That's
was.
more of a paid,
Okay.
But that's how we advertise. People that follow us, they're
Yeah.
gonna know about it. But the majority, I would say probably 99.9 don't follow.
Right.
And those are the ones that we.
Yeah, that's what it was. I wasn't quite sure because it was invisible. She just said, I need you guys to give me $50 or $100, which we moved from our account. She said, okay, I'll take care of it. But is that, like, we give you the money and then or we authorize you to spend it and then you do something different?
I don't want to misspeak, but when she was here, my predecessor, there was a method of, securing funds. I don't know. I don't want to mix memories, but I don't know if it was a town event that, we got a credit card for and we just, paid off the advertisement. I'm not sure they would act much differently from a veterans or any committee wanting to boost their event. But yeah, that would be the way to do it, pay, because then it would really be forced into people, it's not just people that follow
You
us.
target the audience that you want, and they charge you $500,000, whatever it is.
But-
And then it gets sent to those people.
Right.
And whether or not they follow you or not, they're gonna see it. And once they see it, if they want to follow you after that, they can.
Yeah.
But it's, the idea is
And she did say algorithm. I remember that verbiage,
Yeah.
algorithm. And, but it wasn't a lot, it wasn't 500, 1,000.
No, it's like,
No.
it's
It
relatively.
was like
it's-
50,
it could be a-
$100.
if it's
No.
recurring,
Victoria mentioned that one time.
No, we did it. We authorized her to do
Yeah,
it.
well, if 500.
If it's recurring and
Oh.
if it's recurring and specifically targeting,
Okay.
and, wanting to get more people in, then that's what it is.
All right.
It does start to get up there, but the short answer is it has been up, on our Instagram as well.
But where? Because I'm in Instagram and Town of Miami Lakes.
So,
and there's nothing
If
there.
you click on that events highlight, right, in the green circle, right, that's gonna show you all of our events that are taking place.
And
And
my question is this, does the town know how many residents are Twitter and Instagram users?
yeah, we have individual breakdowns. I mean, Instagram is our biggest one, and that's why we post to stories, because the stories are the temporary posts that go up. There's a feature where you can make them permanent. It's sort of, it's the digital version of posting a flyer up. And so it's not gonna stay there forever on our main feed. It's just gonna be there temporarily because that's where most people interact. They're not gonna be scrolling down to see what happened. They're not scrolling down to see a flyer, is what I'm trying to say. They'll scroll down to see highlights, you know what I mean? They're not gonna scroll down to see a flyer that says, hey, this event is taking
But they
place.
need to reply to register or to.
Right, and that's where they can,
Call and what to do.
so we've made,
I don't follow Twitter, I don't follow it.
But what's the alternative?
but
Yeah.
There's not really an alternative, that's just, we're doing that on Instagram because that's how Instagram usually functions. It's on stories, that's where things go up.
Yeah.
If someone was really interested in seeing events, they would go to our Facebook, because that's where you can directly sign up for events.
And then there was a town calendar. I think somebody said they went in there
Right.
and they said it wasn't populated.
So it's,
It's on the town.
no, it's on the town
line.
it's really about the intent of each website. So the intent of Facebook is getting people signed up for events. The intent of
I see what it is. You see, you guys have kind of your idea of the way this is work.
Right.
And those of us on the outside that are uneducated or unsophisticated, we just go into it and say, I don't populate.
Nothing there.
Yeah, well, I'm like, I don't see it. And you're like, well, no, that's because Twitter is, meant for
And of
this.
course, it's more of, in the know, if you're in the know, you're in the know.
What about the
But
Laker, Miami Lakers?
the Miami Laker picks up on our events. I believe we
think they're
submit,
there for free.
right, I believe we submit, an event list
Mm.
a month prior. I don't know exactly how that works. I have to speak with Victoria.
Did you reach out to Channel 10?
I did, I haven't gone.
You put you on their website or whatever?
Speaking of event lists.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay, new business, item A, Arbor Days on Friday. Are we gonna do that on Friday?
I think that's what we did
Did we
last
do it
time.
this
Yes.
year?
Yeah, we did it
Okay.
on the day of.
That's usually a late afternoon thing. It's like-
It was like
Yeah,
11.
that's why I was asking, are we doing
Okay,
a day of?
Memorial Day is the actual Memorial Day, which is a Monday, the 29th.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's good with that?
I think that's what we did this year, yeah.
I
The
vote-
Memorial Day, we did it on the day. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 'cause some of them seem
September
better.
11th is Patriot Day, it's on a Monday.
Yes.
Next year, yes.
Okay,
This
so
year
we're all
also.
good with those?
Well, I get what you're saying is that
I'm just
if
trying
if
to,
people are working and kids are in school,
yeah, because
you're not gonna get them to come to the event.
Patriot Day on Monday, Patriot Day is
It's
not a
not a day
federal
off,
holiday.
right?
So people will be working and kids will be in school,
Correct.
and that's a Monday. Do we
Yeah.
want to do it on September 10th, or do we want to
Well,
do it in the evening on September 11th?
That's a good point.
and not to, put my own opinion forward, because I'm not technically on the committee. I think.
Your voice
I
counts.
think, sure, I appreciate that. I think it is dependent on the event, with 9/11, I feel personally, it's more important to celebrate it on the day. Maybe for Arbor Day,
If you look around.
Right.
Other ads for November, there are a lot of, in town and city, Miami, the others, they're doing Patriot Day on the ceremonies on the 10th. Not on the 11th.
well, yeah,
Because
that's
it's a
why,
Sunday,
Because it's a
and
Monday.
people are.
People are available.
and-
Sure.
and not-
yeah, that's why I think
That's an
personally,
excellent point then, Bill. We should take that into consideration when we plan for this and not necessarily assume that because it falls on a given day, that's the day we're gonna
Now you're
celebrate.
gonna do.
The Veterans Parade, there's always
We
plus or
probably get more,
minus.
the
we
Sunday
probably get
before.
more people there for Arbor Day if we did it on Saturday or Sunday
Right,
instead of Friday.
and we're not losing a lot.
And we're not
Because most
losing.
people don't even know what Arbor Day is. anyway.
Exactly.
No,
All right, that's a good point.
But because if you do it on a Saturday or Sunday, it gives them something to do on the weekend, because Monday, everybody's busy.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah,
and then although
And
Jonathan's point is well taken,
I
September 11th.
tend to agree with your point.
Because if you're doing the bell ringing ceremony when the plane hit the.
Yeah.
I
it has to be on
understand,
9/11.
I understand the point of, putting on a certain day so people can actually attend it, versus the gravity of it being on that day.
Memorial Day is a day off, right? That's a
Yeah.
federal.
Memorial Day is
holiday.
federal
holiday,
holiday.
yeah.
So that will stay.
And
on.
again, at that point, those two, day of,
Yeah.
the gravity versus, a day before.
So
people
really,
can
the
actually
only one
attend,
would be
that
Arbor Day,
For you guys.
Well,
right? That could be moved conceivably.
Yeah.
If
Arbor Day
September
can be
11th,
moved to Saturday or Sunday.
that's true. And I'm sorry, looking at the calendar, you said that was on a Friday.
It's on a
Well,
Friday.
because it's always the last Friday of April, that's why.
April 28th is the Friday.
Yeah. So I don't know if
April
that.
28th.
Mhm.
yeah, the problem with, Patriot Day is the work involved.
Yeah.
And finding volunteers
At that time.
on a Monday,
Yeah.
Well, no, we need
No,
more volunteers on Sunday.
on Sunday.
Oh, but how did we do it last year? We just had good fortune that it fell on the weekend, I guess.
Last year.
Yes,
no.
last year it was on Sunday.
And this year too.
Next year it's gonna, and next year, or no, last year it was on Saturday.
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 It's your Sunday.
And we-
That's why we had difficulty, because we got, none of the kids that were all in school, they
Exactly.
couldn't help with the
They
flags.
showed up after
Yeah,
school.
they showed up at
In the
3.
afternoon.
Right, and
Yeah.
this year it just happens to be on.
Sunday. Yeah, and the kids are coming
On
on
Sunday,
Saturday.
and we're getting kids on Saturday and doing it on Sunday, but next year we'll be getting the kids on Sunday maybe, and then doing it on Monday,
Hmm,
and Monday's not a federal holiday.
So I mean,
No.
then I would probably suggest normalizing it just to, that appropriate Sunday, wherever that would fall on.
hmm.
Remember when we named Veterans Park, there was barely nobody there because it was on a weekend.
It was on a weekday.
I mean, if you, at some point in the future, September 11th is gonna fall like a Thursday.
Yeah.
So what's the alternative?
Hmm.
The closest Sunday, is that what you guys wanna do?
I think, I Like you do it on our closest weekend. and use Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can give it some thought, we have a year.
Yeah.
Well-
I'd say they should make 9/11 a national. holiday
Yeah, Patriot Day, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
but it's not.
In honor.
But it's not yet.
Not yet.
So what do you guys think on Sunday?
I think we're gonna table it,
Yeah,
and then we'll just consider it.
When do you need to know?
It,
When's the calendar gonna be?
Like
put
6
together?
months
well,
out,
we're,
right?
we're starting to have, we're wanting to have this calendar done for the new fiscal year, just so that sponsorships, the dollars, they're fresh, they're on the mind, having the calendar run straight up. Soon, hopefully is the answer.
So,
So
I'm sorry,
is
so
the start of
for,
the-
so
so
for,
he's doing it for the fiscal year and they'd like to do it soon.
I don't think it would be inappropriate, because our next meeting is the 13th.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be inappropriate to have it ready by then either.
the
because
13th
The
of
start of the new fiscal
October.
year, right, the start of the new fiscal year is October 1st. I don't think, the October 13th, it would be
Too late.
I don't think that would be an issue.
Hmm.
So by the 13th, on the 13th, we can talk about it more.
Because we're now doing our meetings on the second Thursday, is that what the?
Second Thursday of the month, I believe.
Hmm,
Yeah, second Thursday,
Today's,
which is October 3rd.
Today is the second Thursday.
Which again, I don't have it,
A Thursday.
I don't think if,
the only reason it just comes to mind is the 13th, I'm not gonna be here, actually. But I mean, I don't have to be, I
You don't
just
have
don't
to.
wanna,
if you wanna.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable giving it. So.
yeah, I don't know.
But
I think I'll go to the next guy in the line there, Mario, you're gonna have to, right on. I think, yeah, I think Larry would do too good of a job. All right, so do we have anything else then?
I
What-
do.
Yeah.
What's the final?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, the latest on the reimbursement of the
the
flags.
flags, yeah.
So I just need the receipt from you. I do believe you provided it to someone at some point.
Claricel
Claricel does?
has
Okay.
it.
Yeah, she has all the originals.
So, and it kind of ties back to the budget issue and, what the discretionary
Because-
fund and all
Because
that.
their money's in.
So the Memorial Day line item has $445 remaining. And
Well,
the
where did the money
reimbursement-
go that was there? Since July. There was 9,836
For-
in contributions and donations.
Well, I don't know where that specifically.
That's not Jonathan's.
Yeah.
Really, in fairness, he's the messenger.
Yeah, I know.
From what I can see in Munis is there's $445 left in the budget for the Memorial Day line item. To cover the reimbursement, which was $748. It didn't change. I checked this morning, it didn't change. To cover the reimbursement, we would have to move $302 to this line item because the reimbursement is about $748,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe.
I can remember that.
although it wasn't, I mean, we used them for the Memorial Day event, but they're not specifically for the Memorial Day event.
No, that's for any
We're
other.
gonna use them for 9/11, we're gonna use them for the Veterans Parade, we're gonna use them.
Well, then even
So they
then,
could be, in other words, they could be put into any line item that had enough money to cover the expense.
Right. So, maybe.
In other words,
The
without
only-
having to go here in front of council and ask to move, monies.
But for anything, it's anything under 700, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Ask, which is why I suggested for this, it's the $500 care fund, which is what we talked about, covering costs. It's not a discretionary fund, as I was told, but we're gonna revisit the definitions of that.
Yeah,
What I was told is to move $302.06 from that $500 fund into Memorial Day to cover that reimbursement.
but again, I think your point, Gary, when you look at the line items, there are no separate line items. The line item for the Veterans Committee is all one code, it's not separate codes. So you don't have Memorial Day as one
They,
code.
they have separate codes on some of
And
them.
they have different project identifications,
Yeah.
which is,
And I thought, because I spoke with them briefly, they said, yeah, don't pay any attention to that, that's just a
well,
bookkeeping.
from what I would just go off of what I was.
All right, so anyway, your recommendation to get Gary the money for the
Is
flags is,
For everyone to vote on moving the $302.06 from the care line item.
Bill,
I make the
opposes.
motion.
Second.
Yep,
Yeah, I don't wanna-
seconded by Larry, all in favor?
That's to
Okay.
move the 302.
Yeah, no, I-
$302.66 from Memorial Day,
Six.
6 cents, okay, from the care package to the Memorial Day.
And I have,
So does that mean that we have money left over for the care package?
the care fund will have about
$200, yeah.
197.
And we can use those for, because we had discussed discretionary fund,
Yeah.
and that had been approved.
So the care item becomes.
Yeah, but, well, Jonathan's saying that somebody made the distinction that that's not the discretionary fund.
Right,
even
what
though
I
we-
was told is it is because there are actual comments in the budget, is that it's specifically, if the gist of it was flowers and the arrangements that need to be made for specific members of the committee. And that's why it wasn't necessarily approved.
We need to revisit that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, who do we do that with? Probably the finance people we need to talk to.
I think you're right there, Peter.
Okay,
I know there,
all right.
I know there's a budget hearing coming up and a council meeting coming up, so. You guys are still members of the public, so
When's the next budget meeting?
there is a budget hearing.
Because, well, I don't know, this is kind of in the weed stuff. I don't know if that's really appropriate for that. It'd be more appropriate for a one-on-one meeting, I think.
Well, we would do that. but it's really get satisfaction to go to the council.
Yes. Everybody here has shirts. Is there, who does not have? a
First
shirt?
budget hearing is the 14th.
The 14th?
14th of September.
I don't know.
Ed and Nicole.
And
And
sorry
Nicole.
to bring it up again, but, so this is the fund transfer thing, I'll have you sign it,
Okay,
because it has to be signed by you, and I'll need the minutes of it, so.
Where the vote is.
for today.
Right,
Oh, that highlights this fund transfer.
right, you guys voted on it, so I'll need that as soon as I can get it. Not to put pressure, but,
All right,
Like now.
Sooner rather than later,
okay.
like yesterday.
that's my kind way.
We'll get- So then without further ado, we're a minute shy of 8 PM. So do we have going around the table any last minute questions or concerns about the September 11th event, which is just a couple of days away? No? And then we're going to be meeting again. We'll have the meeting on Saturday. We have the flags, the ceremony on Sunday. And then on Monday, we're
Well,
meeting for the subcommittee meeting
well,
for the parade. Yeah. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Gary makes the motion to adjourn, seconded by Martha. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8 PM.